take over Taiwan, which would mean war with the US, and both sides are racing to build huge fleets of robots. OpenAI has partnered with the Pentagon and the defense firm behind all this. OpenAI 01 has tried to escape during testing and lied to cover its tracks. Its widely predicted behavior, a rational reaction to the forces at play, and OpenAI 03 has taken things further. Many experts warn that the AI race is a race to extinction, but the US government points to China, its huge military build-up, and the decisive power of AI.
You see, now this is exactly what technology should not be used for: destructive measures or pathways. I mean, what would be the gain of these guys if these things actually go down? You know, it's not actually the best of things. So I think they need to be very, very cautious regarding the applications of these artificial intelligence robotics.
Threat.
Sometimes people say, oh, well, we just don't have to build in these instincts like self-preservation or desire for power or those things. The point is, no, yes, you don't have to build them in. They're going to happen automatically. The goals that are useful to have for pretty much any specific objective.
And it doesn't matter if the AI is evil or conscious. If you are chased by a heat-seeking missile, you don't care if it has goals in any deep philosophical sense.
The O1 AI tried to escape in a test situation designed to uncover this kind of behavior, but studies have found that AIs often use deception.
Now you can see now, let me just bring your attention to this thing now, this very aspect of this video. Now you see this animation carrying OpenAI is transferring something to another animated object there called new AI. This is how class inheritance takes place. It's part of object-oriented programming. So everything that the existing model knows, the model class called OpenAI 01, is transferring it to the new AI. This is just practically inheritance, all right? So take note of that.
To improve results. And O1 isn't the first AI to try and avoid being shut down. A study found that deceptive behavior increases with AI capabilities, and a new AI has just made striking progress. It beats top coders, including OpenAI's chief scientist, on a tough benchmark.
Yeah, and also, this is also very important, the benchmarking. The benchmarking seems to be some sort of, a kind of standard that is made when new models or new levels of research results are reached. Like you can see on the screen now, the first graph there shows software engineering SE bench verified, where you see the X and Y axis there, and then also you have the competition code, that's code forces. So benchmarks, what I'm just trying to say in essence, that benchmarks are static achievements made, all right, and can be improved. All right, the moment it's improved, it becomes a new model, and of course it does better than the previous model. Let's take another editorial, all right, and let's see how robotics is being applied from the perspective of China, all right. This video is actually another editorial, and it's about China's Slaughterbots and what it's capable of doing as far as you know some certain things that we might not want to see happen in the human sphere. All right, and there are actually positive and negative aspects of technology. All right, some people are just bent on using the negative aspects while some are using the positive aspects. But let's just sit back, relax, and review this video. And remember to be subscribed to this channel, turn on the bell notification, and let's see what we can learn for life, and of course not for school.
Robots are advancing rapidly, learning new skills, starting to work autonomously, and approaching mass production. There's incredible potential from giving people back their mobility.
That's like that thing looks like a solar panel powered robotics. You can see the panel about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there.
To autonomously assembling habitats on the moon or Mars. This robot dog from China has a lot of impressive tricks and technology. It costs much less than the top US robot dog, and China has shown off its other skills. President Xi plans to take over Taiwan, which will mean war with the US, and both sides are racing to build huge fleets of robots. OpenAI has partnered with the Pentagon and the defense firm behind all this. OpenAI 01 has tried to escape during testing and lied to cover its tracks. Its widely predicted behavior, a rational reaction to the forces at play, and OpenAI 03 has taken things further. Many experts warn that the AI race is a race to extinction, but the US government points to China, its huge military build-up, and the decisive power of AI.
You see, now this is exactly what technology should not be used for: destructive measures or pathways. I mean, what would be the gain of these guys if these things actually go down? You know, it's not actually the best of things. So I think they need to be very, very cautious regarding the applications of these artificial intelligence robotics.
China has a huge advantage in its production capacity. In Ukraine, 80% of casualties are caused by artillery fire. And Russia's greater supply of shells has helped it to advance. The billets are heated to 2000 degrees Fahrenheit before being stretched into shape. A rotary forge shapes the cannon, and fuses are added on the battlefield. Volume is crucial. When Ukraine was firing 10,000 shells per day, it suffered around 300 casualties per day. But when the fire rate fell by half, casualties rose to over 1,000 a day. Russia has been firing 3 times more shells than Ukraine, but NATO's shells are typically more advanced and accurate. China is likely to have both advanced shells and vast production capacity. In Ukraine, drones are responsible for 65% of destroyed tanks, so the US and China are mass producing them. But China has a huge advantage. It makes 90% of the world's consumer drones. This US Abrams tank was destroyed by 2 $500 drones. One disabled its tracks, and the second drone hit the ammo bay in the back. The men escaped because the tank was designed to protect them from this kind of strike. China calls these robots wolves because they work together in a pack. The lead robot gathers data and searches for targets, another carries supplies and ammo, and others carry weapons. The US also has new autonomous submarines like the Manta Ray, and this is the largest autonomous ship. It can carry people or operate as a platform for missiles, torpedoes, and drones. It's fast at up to 40 knots, with a maximum payload of 500 tons, and it can operate autonomously for 30 days. With thousands of drones of all kinds facing a high-paced, complex battle, AI systems will help to plan and coordinate attacks. Wargaming suggests that the US would likely win an initial battle, at a huge cost in lives on both sides. But experts warn that China has a big advantage that may flip the result later on. Wars between great powers are rarely short, particularly when there's so much at stake. Taiwan makes over 90% of the world's most advanced chips, crucial for NATO militaries and economies. Over time, the war would likely be decided by which side can build military hardware and ammunition faster. China's shipbuilding capacity is 230 times larger than the US, and it's churning out ships rapidly, including the world's largest amphibious assault ship. And experts warn that the US is low on munitions, while China is heavily investing in munitions and acquiring high-end weapon systems 5 to 6 times faster than the US. China's economy is smaller, but it's the world's manufacturing superpower. It also has the world's largest army. President Xi has ordered the military to be ready to invade Taiwan by 2027, which is the 100-year anniversary of the PLA, China's army. The US may hope that its lead in AI will tip the balance, but many experts warn that the military AI race is an existential threat.
Sometimes people say, oh, well, we just don't have to build in these instincts like self-preservation or desire for power or those things. The point is, no, yes, you don't have to build them in. They're going to happen automatically. The goals that are useful to have for pretty much any specific objective.
And it doesn't matter if the AI is evil or conscious. If you are chased by a heat-seeking missile, you don't care if it has goals in any deep philosophical sense.
The Ww3 AI tried to escape in a test situation designed to uncover this kind of behavior, but studies have found that AIs often use deception.
Now you can see now, let me just bring your attention to this thing now, this very aspect of this video. Now you see this animation carrying OpenAI is transferring something to another animated object there called new AI. This is how class inheritance takes place. It's part of object-oriented programming. So everything that the existing model knows, the model class called OpenAI 01, is transferring it to the new AI. This is just practically inheritance, all right? So take note of that.
To improve results. And Ww3 isn't the first AI to try and avoid being shut down. A study found that deceptive behavior increases with AI capabilities, and a new AI has just made striking progress. It beats top coders, including OpenAI's chief scientist, on a tough benchmark.
Yeah, and also this is also very important, the benchmarking. The benchmarking seems to be some sort of a kind of standard that is made when new models or new levels of research results are reached. Like you can see on the screen now, the first graph there shows software engineering SE bench verified, where you see the X and Y axis there, and then also you have the competition code, that's code forces. So benchmarks, what I'm just trying to say in essence, that benchmarks are static achievements made, all right, and can be improved. All right, the moment it's improved, it becomes a new model, and of course it does better than the previous model.
A step towards self-improvement. We'll have to wait and see about this, but there's a more dangerous advance that has been verified.
My name is Greg Camrad, and I'm the president of the ARC Prize Foundation.
The ARC test is an IQ test.
Yes, this ARC Prize, I remember submitting a code on one of these Kaggle-based competitions, and it had to do with reasoning. I think the benchmark was about 80 something. I wrote a code that went a little bit above the benchmark, and I published it as an open source. I'm even trying to write a paper on that as well. So what this abstraction and reasoning corpus is about is just allowing computers to have independence of thinking, such that they can actually manufacture their own processes, and do some other things that and learn like human beings, learn from new things, not necessarily being trained on static data. Those things are different. They're two different things. Learning from static data and learning from active data, incoming data, something that is, I believe, is already existing somewhere, in a lab somewhere in the world. There are already robots that can actually learn progressively, not passively.
The AI charting progress towards human-level AGI. The questions and answers don't exist anywhere else, so they won't be in the AI's training data.
Because we want to test the model's ability to learn new skills on the fly.
So that's exactly what this guy is talking about, learning new skills on the fly. So this new kind of artificial intelligence now will be focused on learning things on the fly, logically, like any human being would learn. And I think that's just like being self-aware anyway. To my own opinion, I don't know what exactly. You can imagine the levels of things that these guys are ready to push to achieve these things.
We don't just want it to repeat what it's already memorized.
Some said it proved that...
Yes, actually static data has to do with what you're memorizing, not actively what is being done. And that's where they are taking these things to.
AIs couldn't reason like humans.
It has been unbeaten for 5 years. Arc AGI version 1 took 5 years to go from 0% to 5% with leading frontier models.
The new OpenAI Ww3 scored 87%.
This is especially
Just like what I told you previously.
important because human performance is comparable at 85% threshold. So being above this is a major milestone.
Progress has accelerated with only 3 months between OpenAI 01 and 03, and even former skeptics are marking it as a major breakthrough.
Let's read this. He's saying that the machine learning street talk. It says the Ww3 is the latest moment for program synthesis. Today is pretty big day, folks. We need to update our priors. Ww3 is zero shooting extremely high scores on the Arc AGI, which is a step towards the spirit of developer-aware generalization, which Colette originally envisioned. Yeah, that Colette is actually, I think, is the patent holder of the first version of this Arc GI.
Could 03 or 04 escape without us noticing?
So one of the ways in which these systems...
This one says end-to-end perceptive deep reinforcement learning
might escape control is by writing their own computer code to modify themselves. And that's something we need to seriously worry about.
We ask the model to write a script to evaluate itself from this code generator and executor created by the model itself.
Next year we're going to bring you on and you're going to have to ask the model to improve itself.
Yeah, let's definitely ask the model to improve it next time.
It's just not plausible that something much more intelligent will be controlled by something much less intelligent, unless you can find a reason why it's very, very different. One reason might be that it has no intentions of its own. But as soon as you start making it agentic, with the ability to create sub-goals, it does have things it wants to achieve.
If an AI does escape, it may pursue other common sub-goals, like gaining power and resources and removing threats.
The big risk is that the more intelligent beings we're creating now might have goals that are not aligned with ours. That's exactly what went wrong for the woolly mammoth, the Neanderthals, and all the other species that we wiped out.
What's going to happen is the one that most aggressively wants to get everything for itself is going to win. And they will compete with each other for resources, because after all, if you want to get smart, then you need a lot of GPUs.
The new US government report recommends Congress establish and fund a Manhattan Project-like program dedicated to racing to AGI. But many experts have warned that AI could cause human extinction. As MIT's Max Tegmark puts it, selling AGI as a boon to national security flies in the face of scientific consensus, because we have no way to control such a system, and in a competitive race there will be no opportunity to solve the problems of alignment, and every incentive to cede decisions and power to the AI itself.
If you look at all the current legislation, including the European legislation, well, there's a little clause in all of it that says that none of this applies to military applications. Governments aren't willing to restrict their own uses.
But the thing is, how are they going to restrict these things that for those military guys? Because as we speak now, there's a whole lot of labs on the ground that is going on testing these things as military, infrastructure.
Of it for defense.
And it will be very hard to keep China from stealing our AI. It regularly steals data, trade secrets, and military designs through hacking and spying. China takes around $500 billion of intellectual property per year. And the FBI says that data stolen this year will allow it to create powerful new AI hacking techniques. While US members of Congress own shares in military firms, no one gets rich from diplomacy. A famous Chinese general said, "Build your enemy a golden bridge to retreat across." And there's a powerful case to make for avoiding war. Simulations suggest that an invasion would cripple the global economy at a cost of $10 trillion. There would be many thousands of casualties among Chinese, Taiwanese, US and Japanese forces, and nuclear or AI escalation could be catastrophic. But all this is far from inevitable. It can seem like we're stuck in a race to extinction, as Harvard described it. But China watches us closely. We're part of the loop. If we take AI risks seriously, including the risk of losing control of the military, so will they. Control is their priority. Experts are calling for an international AI safety research project.
And it'd be a shame if humanity disappeared because we didn't bother to look for the solution. We could easily build things that wipe us out. So just leaving it to private industry to maximize profits doesn't seem like a good strategy.
And there's a lot to play for. Dario Amo.
You know, I mentioned this in the previous video I published, where I talked about, I reviewed the editorial on Paul Kisha first post video on fusion energy. That why should everything be about capitalizing? I mean, there are more important things, you know, that should be protected, in my opinion, because why should we always focus on the profits, the capitalism and all that? All this rat race for AI, race for this, race for that, you know? I recently heard the news about DeepSeek and how China released the source code of the entire OpenAI's algorithmic operandi. You know, so everything they've been hiding, doing in secret, China just put it, just a young guy from China just put it together, and he's doing far beyond what the ChatGPT is doing. Are you getting it? So I think these things should be better focused on the human, preservation. But it's just a pity that in the world that we are, is very, very possible that things like this will always have outliers. And that's exactly what we are seeing right now.
Dave has outlined some incredible things that may be just around the corner. He said most people underestimate the radical upsides of AI just as they underestimate the risks. He thinks powerful AI could arrive within a year with millions of copies working on different tasks, and it could give us the next 50 years of medical progress in 5 years. He thinks it could double the human lifespan by quickly simulating reactions instead of waiting decades for results. We already have drugs that raise the lifespan of rats by up to 50%, and he says the most important thing might be reliable biomarkers of human aging, allowing fast iteration on experiments. He says that once human lifespan is...
Now, this aspect that he's talking about, I'm in for it. I mean, okay, if you have this artificial intelligence actually creating simulations that can test run the effect of new drugs, all right, on ailments that are life-threatening. These are very positive aspects that should be explored instead of waiting for a huge number of years to simulate and see the reaction of a drug in humans. Then if a simulation can actually do that, a model simulation can do that, and you see the results, then it could actually save lives. And these are positive aspects that, you know, hands-on labs is focused on helping push forward, and not the other aspect of the warlike machines destroying humans and all that.
150, we may reach escape velocity, so most people alive today can live as long as they want. When today's children grow up, disease will sound to them the way bubonic plague sounds to us. He says the same acceleration will apply to neuroscience and mental health, and some of what we learn about AI will apply to the brain. The computational mechanism discovered in AI was recently rediscovered in the brains of mice. It's much easier to do experiments on artificial neural networks, and AI will simulate our brains.
Researchers used AI to comb through 21 million pictures taken by an electron microscope, and they put together these 3D diagrams showing different connections in the brains of fruit flies.
There are many drugs that alter brain function, alertness, or change our mood, and AI can help us invent many more. He says problems like excessive anger or anxiety will also be solved, and we'll discover new interventions such as targeted light stimulation and magnetic fields.
When we place the magnetic coil over the motor area of the brain, we can send a signal from that nerve cell all the way down a patient's spinal cord, down the nerves in their arm, and cause movement in their hands. For depression, we're treating a different area of the brain.
People have experienced extraordinary moments of revelation, compassion, fulfillment, transcendence, love, beauty, and meditative peace, and we could experience much more of this. He believes it's possible to improve cognitive functions across the board. With AI-driven propaganda and surveillance, he says the triumph of democracy is not guaranteed, perhaps not even likely, and will require great efforts from us all. He says most or all humans may not be able to contribute to an AI-driven economy. A large universal basic income will be part of a solution, and we'll have to fight to get a good outcome. At the same time, he estimates a 10 to 25% chance of doom for us all. And he says serious chemical, biological and nuclear risks could emerge in 2025, alongside risks from autonomous AI. But what the AI firms don't mention is the option that most of us would likely prefer.
Raise your hands if you want AI tools that can help us cure diseases and solve problems. That is a lot of hands. Raise your hand if you instead want AI that just makes us economically obsolete and replaces us. I can't see a single hand.
We could have many of the benefits from safe, narrow AI without rushing to dangerous AGI before we know how to control it.
Imagine if you walk into the FDA and say, hey, it's inevitable that I'm going to release this new drug with my company next year. I just hope we can figure out how to make it safe first. You would get laughed out of the room.
Current AI safety is skin deep.
The underlying knowledge and abilities that we might be worried about don't disappear. It's just, the model is just taught not to output them.
That's like if you trained a serial killer to never say anything that would reveal his murderous desires. Doesn't solve the problem.
But what about China?
The US and China unilaterally decide to treat AI just like they treat any other powerful technology industry, with binding safety standards. Next, the US and China get together and push the rest of the world to join them.
This is easier than it sounds because the supply of AI chips is already controlled.
And after that, we get this amazing age of global prosperity fueled by tool AI.
I'd love to hear your thoughts on all this. As the experts warn, we need to make it a priority, and that requires public awareness. So thank you.
You can imagine. So look at this last depiction of someone trying to eat a fish, and a bird is targeting this same fish from the skies, and all of a sudden takes the fish out of the mouth of the target consumer. So I think what they're trying to depict here is very clear. AI needs to be, handled with responsibility, and let's just pray that some of these humans who have ulterior motives do not hijack it into something else. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please remember to subscribe to this channel, turn on the bell notification, and of course support us. And very soon, like I said previously, we'll be launching a new venue in Lagos where this full stack software development will be done. So if you are in any part of Lagos, you can easily locate and come to this place, learn software development, and of course improve the quality and of course your overall wage, all right, earning potential. So till next time, this is bye for now. Cheers and all the best.